Hello and welcome back to the SAP Reimagine podcast series. This is episode 2, Accelerate to the Cloud. I'm Gregor from AG, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Vijita from SAP. Thanks for joining me. In this episode, we'll be discussing practical ways businesses can speed up their cloud adoption journey, understand the role of hyperscalers, and explore the benefits of SAP's qualified partner package solutions, and weigh the pros and the cons of taking a more modular approach to SAP implementation. So thank you again for joining us today, Vijita. Do you mind doing a brief introduction and tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at SAP?
Sure. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Gregor, for this invitation and to share this podcast with me. I am from the SAP Ecosystem Delivery Success Team here in SAP, and I'm the Regional Partner Delivery Manager for Strategic Partners. And it's been an incredible 16 years of journey in SAP. And I have witnessed the evolution from the ERP days to the adoption of S/4HANA Cloud Solutions. I must say it's been an incredible journey. I'm very excited to discuss more about our experience and insights with you, Gregor, today in this podcast.
Well, amazing. Thank you for the introduction. Thanks for joining us again. Let's just jump straight into the conversation on accelerating cloud adoption. So I guess my first question, we see a lot of businesses often struggle to adopt cloud solutions efficiently due to complexity, legacy systems, and concerns around cost and just disruption in general. Given your expertise on the matter, I wanted to know, how can businesses accelerate their cloud adoption journey? And do you have any success stories or examples that you could use to illustrate this?
Well, I must say it's a very interesting question, and I would like to mention a famous quote from Charles Darwin. I hope you must have heard it before. It is not the most intellectual of the species that survives, but the species itself that is best able to adapt and adjust to the changing environment in which it finds itself. The fact is that we all currently live in a very challenging world, and there are a lot of changes happening in our ecosystem. And with this change management, we really need to be agile and agile towards these changes. We are very much positive about the huge opportunities what partners and customers bring on the table, and they are the main drivers of the deals. And behind all this success, there is a sheer amount of hard work and dedication which goes in the background. And if you say this, it's vice versa with us in SAP as well, because SAP is also investing a lot in this regard. We expect that the partners and customers should continue accelerating to the cloud transformation. RISE with SAP methodology, clean core is super important. SAP Activate, Calm, and also SAP For Me. So we are all aware that we have 3 ERP challenges, right? The business is changing a lot in these uncertain markets. The process complexity, because it's never simple. I can tell you from my example today, if I have to do a registration of a simple process, it takes so much of my time to even think about the process, then the requirements. So it is complex. Challenges without clean core are many. There are operations which is getting expensive day in and day out. Slower innovations, then you are also exposing your business to greater risk. And that's where the clean core is super important, because it unlocks the benefits of innovation adoption. Basically, you can increase your business productivity, and in terms of risk management also, it is super beneficial for some of the customers who have untapped the opportunity with clean core, and your overall IT spend is also getting less. So that's where the RISE with SAP methodology is super important. There is a famous quote from Helen Keller: alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. So that's where the collaboration topic comes into picture. We do a large amount of investment in terms of training, enablement. We also want our partners and customers to keep on giving us the feedback, keep on collaborating with us and attending the boot camps and also webinars, and soon the SAP Sapphire is getting launched. So such type of key important activities for the entire year, the partners and customers are highly encouraged to attend and keep talking with us. And that's where our SAP Enterprise Cloud Services team is there, where we talk about large amount of, the implementation in terms of what is the operation strategy, what is the migration strategy, and how they can ensure that you fit to standard. Now, moving on to one of the most important aspect is again AI. AI is something we cannot shy away from. It's everywhere in your day life. From your home automation, you wake up with your mobile application, you use AI a lot. So we need to untap and harness the power of AI to drive our business growth and also the innovation. And here comes your Bro Business Data Cloud. It was also released this year, which is a very hot topic and widely been mentioned across our different go-to-market strategy. The partner and customer need to have a clear roadmap, leveraging the best practices and framework. Here, if you talk about the implementation phases, having the best practices and framework, engaging in continuous enablement, and then utilizing the customer success stories. But for an instance, I can tell you from my experience, I have seen like supply chain was a very hot topic, and in the COVID time you have seen that this was an industry which was dealing a lot of risk and issues. So how we can ensure? So here at Apollo Tires Limited, they transformed their journey digitalization with SAP Cloud. They had gained a momentum in terms of competitive advantage to process simplification. They reduced the cost and they future proof in terms of the global business, global and supply chains. Then adopting a clean core strategy is important, and then finally, the focusing on customer value.
Right, well, some excellent examples there, thank you. A few key points anyway that stood out to me were the importance of having that clear roadmap from the outset. Obviously, leveraging best practices, proven frameworks like the SAP Activate methodology, and that kind of emphasis on continuous improvement to keep teams aligned throughout that journey of transformation. I also really like the example of Apollo Tires and that you brought in at the end there. I think it's a tangible case showing how cloud adoption, when done right, leads to real measurable outcomes. So it's clear that cloud transformation isn't just a technology shift, it's a strategic move, and with the right approach, the value unlocks is really significant. So thank you for covering that there. Now moving on to one of the biggest debates that we encounter when it comes to adopting SAP solutions. A modular approach, is that better than an all-at-once, big bang implementation? What are the pros and cons of each, in your opinion?
Yes, that's again a very interesting question. So often we have this topic come across in your implementation life journey. Definitely, I will vouch for the modular approach because it has got fantastic pros, and also there are some cons. But there is never a one fit standard for one customer because it definitely changes over the time how complex the organization is, how many processes they have, and also what type of transformation journey they are in their implementation cycle. There is a lot of pros and cons for modular approach in terms of flexibility and scalability, right? We understand in the modular approach you do it in a phase wise approach and you allow basically your businesses to adopt this functionality in phases. So that makes it much more easier to adopt and to change the needs. Since you're breaking it down into smaller and manageable modules, it becomes very easy to reduce the complexity of the overall project. And these are like quick wins. Most of the smaller companies would definitely not like to go all in because that includes large amount of risk for them. It's very cost effective. You can track on your expense over a longer period of time, and it is not something that you can avoid some of the large upfront cost because you can plan it in a very phased manner. And this model works very fit for some of the small and medium size of companies. And since there is minimum disruption, because you're doing it in a phase way, it helps the businesses can run and operate smoothly and also improving their functionality. So this is indeed a very good, healthy implementation strategy, what the customers definitely vouch for. And in terms of quality and maintenance, also it's something like you are having a central repository for standardized modules, and then you try to use it, and then you are also updating it in a real time. But for every methodology, there is definitely some of the disadvantage as well, right? Because here we are talking about the phase wise manner, which takes around longer implementation time. So if you see, since you are trying to reduce the complexity, you extend the timeline. So some of the business are not ready to extend. When you extend the implementation, the cost changes. In terms of resource allocation, that is another issue because you need to plan for an extended period, and businesses, you need to ensure that the resources are available. You cannot release the resources. Then there comes the integration challenges because you have to integrate large amount of different modules, especially when there is a complex scenarios and there is large amount of interdependencies. So seamless integration is sometimes never possible in modular type of implementation. Change management, you need to ensure that the employees are adequately trained and they are prepared for this phases. Customer will give a requirement, and since you are doing it in a phase manner, maybe sometimes the customer may add some additional requirements. So that becomes issue for the project to scope it or to plan ahead. Now, when you come for a full blown type of implementation, right, big bang approach, generally that is something like you're deploying a new system or making significant changes to a system in one go. So that is an approach which works for large enterprises who want quick implementation and reduce the dissonance. That means there is less confusion among the users because they do it in one shot. It is always done it in a centralized budget because there is a big pool of money involved. So that you can really plan ahead and you do it in a full blown. That approach is also successful. I would not debate in that way because we have seen some of the large implementation projects going for a big bang approach where there is a stipulated time frame they want to do in the project in that time. Budget is not a constraint and they would like to finish the project on time. But there are some of the cons because, as I said, higher cost because um, you are extensively bringing number of resources and support during this transition, and there is also single source of failure. If something goes wrong in the implementation phase, that will affect the entire system. You cannot roll out or roll back the option. So in terms of migration project, in the phase manner only we do the dev, QA and the prod. We always do a careful observation about how the systems behave before going go live. There is large amount of preparation plannings takes place. You also bring up different risk factors into your project planning and systematically, each and every accelerators what you are supposed to do and how you divide the work packages. So we need to understand the modular approach is very good for medium and small companies and also the companies which want to scale up. And the full blown also works fantastic for some of the very large enterprises because you are putting across all your efforts in one go and doing it, and that's where this both implementation strategy is working wonders for different type of complexity of the projects.
Vijita. So it seems then like this more modular methodology allows businesses to see those tangible benefits early on, as well as generate some momentum and stakeholder buy-in, especially for businesses that are scaling up to cloud adoption, because early wins ultimately help sustain enthusiasm. And I'm sure we're all familiar with playing a game like Monopoly with a younger relative and it's you've got to kind of give them early wins in order to keep them playing the game. So ultimately then the choice seems to depend on one, organization size and the maturity and the risk appetite. So from what you're saying, mid-market companies often lean towards that more modular approach. With larger enterprises, they tend to kind of go for the more comprehensive big bang transformation, invest in everything all at once. But obviously there's pros and cons to both of those.
In the implementation aspect, we really need to compare it like a building a house. You need to have the best practices in place. You need to have a good foundation. Then you need to think about how many levels of layers you will put in the foundation, right? So it's super important that you do the requirements gathering. You see what is the fit to standard model. It is all depending on your transformation journey. So this is all depending on the complexity of each and every organization size and maturity.
Well, appreciate the example. I guess then to pivot into our next question, I just wanted to ask a little bit about hyperscalers. So although it's a definition that perhaps is less mysterious than the likes of Grow with SAP or Rise with SAP, which we talked about in our last episode, it's a term that's thrown around quite a lot. So, what are hyperscalers and how do they support businesses in their cloud journey?
Yeah, in terms of terminologies, hyperscalers are there with us. They are the large cloud service providers, and basically, any company today, if they have to scale and have the flexible cloud infrastructure, right, and services, they will go for hyperscalers. Play a crucial role in supporting our businesses in the cloud journey. In our RISE transformation journey, we do have SAP Enterprise Cloud Services. They have this infrastructure. They provide the customers with this infrastructure journey. And we have this very good partnership with our hyperscalers, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and also Google Cloud Platform. We would like our customers to scale and have a very good global reach with advanced technologies. So hyperscalers are something which is efficiently providing all this expertise. Whenever we talk about scalability and flexibility, hyperscalers are accommodating the growing needs of business. So you can quickly scale up or down the resources, and in terms of high availability or getting the SLAs. That is the heart and soul of any business, right? To have an efficient data center so that the customer is always on the cloud and there is no downtime. So, providing your low latency and high availability for your applications. And when you name about the advanced technologies, all these hyperscalers, which you might be aware of, heavily invest in advanced technologies like example, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics. So they ensure that your SAP application is running up to the speed, and also you get a lot out of the data. You can get different business analytics based out of it, and which you can reuse, and there is a good improvement from the customer, right, in terms of running their business. Now security and compliance is a very important topic. Whenever we talk about data in the cloud, security and compliance is a important aspect, and that's where hyperscalers offer robust security measures and compliance certification, ensuring that your business data is not compromised, right? Your applications are protected, and this includes the latest technologies, right? We talk about encryption, identity, and access management. So, just as an example, like we use phone in our day-to-day life, right? We use iPhone or we may use Android device. Whenever we try to download any app or if we are subscribing to any app, we always try to read about the reviews. We try to see if it is security wise is compliant, and then put across that app, ensuring that we have a peace of mind. So for a customer, it's absolutely the same. They want to ensure that their data is not compromised. They get a lot out of their data, and cost wise also hyperscalers provide them all the resources, and it's not something they pay at a shot. The model is subscription model, so that really works for all the customers because they pay only for the resources they use. They are not using for entire infrastructure. So that
Mm.
itself reduce the upfront capital expenditure and operational cost. And that's the reason a lot of customers in Rise as well, you will get to hear the success stories that the customers have gone to Rise with SAP along with hyperscalers. And support and expertise is also important aspect because these hyperscalers provide an extensive support in terms of any of the issues, right? They have a dedicated cloud engineer team, solution architect who are always there ensuring that there is a successful implementation. And if there is issue, like if your system is down, they ensure to have a different operating procedures for it. They have developed the processes for it. They would have a manager on duty who will ensure that this escalation like is been taken care, and overall the support is very good in terms of hyperscalers and optimize in their SAP solution in the cloud because they provide everything right from the infrastructure, technologies, support needed to drive your digital business.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the overview of hyperscalers. I think it's interesting, especially to touch upon kind of driving down that lower total cost of ownership by offloading your more the infrastructure burden in a lot of ways to hyperscalers. I think a lot of the time people will assume when you do offload some of your infrastructure or just anything from your business, it's going to come at a cost. But in actuality, this helps you scale and reduces the cost, which I think is amazing. Just to add from our side as well at AG, we also see how strategic partnerships with hyperscalers can reduce that complexity for our clients by offering robust and pre-configured solutions, especially when it comes to taking the more modular approach that you mentioned before. Just wanted to touch on one more question, really, before I let you go back to your busy schedule. Perhaps we could talk a little bit about Qualified Partner Package Solutions, or QPPSs as they're known, for quick wins, and embrace upcoming innovations.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one because we have in SAP a dedicated team who is taking care of this QPS. Qualified Partner Package Solution is designed and built up in such a way so that we are ensuring that the business achieve quick wins. And it's something which we ask our partners to build up where they see that there is a gap. It can be any third-party partner solution, or where you're seeing that the line of business expertise, they know a lot about our customer requirements because they are working very closely with our customers. So that's why this model is a very successful model, and this is also providing the customers the flexibility because it is something like fixed scope offerings for accelerated implementation. So the customer is also not paying for the entire product as a dedicated scope and how much they can reap the benefits of the SAP technologies in this. So there are some of the key aspects of QPPS and how this can help the business. So one thing is for sure, Gregor, that there is a great amount of industry expertise which the partners bring. The SAP partner ecosystem is huge, and that's where QPPS model was developed so that we tap the expertise of SAP partners to develop some of the tailored solutions which can address the challenges and the requirements of different sectors of the customers. So the partners are aware about the pain points and they come up with their demo solutions, and then they bring up, and then the QPPS is packaged in such a way. The scalability and flexibility is also good because in this way the customers can tap this opportunity and scale their operation and also succeed in terms of these changing market trends, right? Whatever we see, if in terms of innovation and customization also, it becomes very important that this is intellectual property of the partner, and some of the extensions you are building or some apps or something in terms of analytics which you think as is super important and will help the pain points of a customer. And this also drives the partner differentiation in embracing the upcoming innovations, because partners are always in the forefront. They are always taking up large amount of investment in terms of enabling themselves, being the front pillars, understanding the cloud adoption and scalability, flexibilities for all those reasons. So how we can move our customers from on-premise to the cloud-based environment and reap the benefits of cloud computing. So here are some of the examples of the QPPS. You're collaborating with your customer, you're understanding the pain points, and SAP is also taking part here. So all three of us are providing a comprehensive and efficient approach to implement SAP solution.
Well, fabulous. Thank you very much for that. So it seems that QPPS is clearly lower the barriers to that cloud adoption that we've been speaking about and help organizations stay current, and also kind of play off the niche industry knowledge that partners bring to the SAP ecosystem, which really is fantastic because obviously, like with ourselves at AG, with our experience and our deep kind of industry knowledge within specific areas like oil and gas and manufacturing, it'd be a bit of a waste not to utilize that knowledge to develop those bespoke solutions for those industries. And we're actually developing some very exciting QPPSs at the moment, and potentially next episode we can discuss that in a bit more detail. So thank you very much for that insightful discussion today, Vijita. Really appreciate it. We've got into a lot of detail on some really key topics. We've covered a lot of ground. 1, how to accelerate cloud adoption. 2, the role of hyperscalers. 3, SAP's QPPSs. And also, I guess the fourth and final point, the pros and cons of a modular versus an all-in big bang implementation approach. So thanks again. If you found today's episode valuable at all, be sure to join us next time for more insightful and in navigating your journey to S4HANA Cloud and just enacting digital transformation and change within your business. So we'll dive deeper into industry packages next time.
Thanks, Gregor, for having me.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.